What is up guys, this is Zypha here, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we shall be taking a look at all the changes brought to Dead by Daylight in the 6.1.0 update. This was actually brought out a few days ago now, so I am pretty late to this, I know, but I just figured I'd cover it anyways because it is pretty fucking recent and I know a lot of people don't have any interest to read into the patch notes and some people may not have even logged on yet and seen any of the changes. So just before we get into the video, I just want to quickly thank you all for all the support on my last video. You guys are amazing. I managed to get over 700 views and that's just as I'm recording this. It's been going up loads. Like I'll check back the next day and it'll have gone up another 100 or some shit. Like it's going up so much. So to everyone who's watched that video or left support, thank you so much. That's probably the most popular video on my channel I think now, which is pretty mental because that's my first ever Dead by Daylight video. So it really does mean a lot. Thank you everyone for the support. For anyone who has subscribed recently as well, thanks for sticking around and hopefully you'll enjoy the content that's yet to come. But anyway, we're gonna get into the video without further ado. Now, of course, before we get into all the really crazy and big gameplay updates, of course, with this 6.1.0 update, we have also got Tome 12 Discordance, which has arrived. Obviously, if you're interested in reading into the lore and whatnot, then the new Tome is here. We've got new memories for the Blight, 𝒅𝒊𝒔𝒄𝒍𝒂𝒊𝒎𝒄, and the House of Arkham. And of course, we also got the Attack on Titan crossover, which I personally do not give a shit for. I do not like anime. I have never watched Attack on Titan, but obviously a lot of people must have been asking for it. So yeah, they've apparently made 10 outfits inspired by favorite characters from the Legendary series. But now we're going to get into the main gameplay updates. Okay, so firstly, for the gameplay updates, the most biggest and important update of all is the changes to the progression and prestige system. That has been completely reworked. So obviously before this update, if you've played the game, obviously you will know that there was only 3 available prestiges, and for each of those you would be rewarded with a bloodied variation of the original outfit that came for that killer or survivor. Now there is a completely different prestige system. 3 is no longer the cap to the prestige levels, and there's now 100 prestige levels available, which is mental. So obviously each killer and survivor has their own 3 unique perks, and before you could unlock teachables, which could obviously be unlocked from the Shrine of Secrets, or you could get them via the blood web, which would just take longer. But basically that's how it worked before. If you wanted to get a certain tier version of a certain perk, you'd have to unlock the very first tier of that perk in Shrine of Secrets or in the blood web, and then you'd have to slowly upgrade it in the blood web. But now it's different. So for prestige 1, you unlock the tier 1 version of the character's unique perks for immediate use on all other characters, and then at prestige 2 you unlock the tier 2 version of the character's unique perks for immediate use on all other characters, and then at prestige 3 you unlock tier 3 version of a character's unique perks for immediate use on all other characters. So that's how it works now. Teachables no longer exist, so say goodbye to those. So yeah, now whenever you prestige you will go up a tier for all 3 of the unique perks on that specific character or killer that you're prestiging, and they will be available for every other killer or survivor depending on which side you're playing on, obviously. Then at prestiges 4, 5 and 6 you will now get the bloody cosmetics. I am so happy they didn't get rid of these because I honestly thought with this update I thought they would become like no longer accessible and it would be like a thing of the past. So, you know, if you played before this update you would obviously have the bloodied cosmetics, but you can still get them. It just means they're further up the prestige levels. Prestige 4 you'd unlock the bloodstained torso for the survivor or the weapon for killer. At prestige 5 you'd unlock the bloodstained legs for survivor or the body for killer, and then at prestige 6 you'd unlock the bloodstained head for the survivor or mask/head for the killer. Then at prestige 7 you will unlock a charm representing the character's first unique perk, but it will only be available for that character. Same with prestige 8, you'll unlock a charm representing that character's second unique perk, and then at prestige 9 you'll unlock a charm representing the character's third unique perk, and those charms will only be available for that specific survivor or killer. They will not be accessible for all the other survivors and killers charm sections. So that's how that will work. And then after prestige 9 I don't think they have anything else. I think prestige 10 to 100 there is no other rewards or outcomes of prestiging. The only reason you'd have to prestige at that point is to renew your blood web. So yeah, hopefully they add more in future for those prestiges. Obviously the most notable difference about this new system is that now you no longer have to worry about losing all of your items, offerings, add-ons and perks, which is great because obviously a few months ago when they brought out the whole loadout system where you can obviously set up the 3 different loadouts where you could base your items and offerings and add-ons around certain perks. Now it's even better because with this new system, you can just prestige without a care in the world and you will not lose any of them, which is great because before this, you couldn't prestige without losing everything. You'd have to start all over again, which was really bad if, say, you didn't want to lose your old event items and whatnot, which were basically rare. You'd have to sit on level 50, which basically promoted not prestiging, which is kind of annoying. The global blood point soft cap has been raised to 2 million, which was previously 1 million. And then for blood point categories at the end of the game, the maximum has been raised to 10,000, which was previously 8,000. So you can now gain up to 10,000 blood points in each of the 4 categories at the end of a match. Another notable difference with the new prestige system is that whilst before prestiging was optional and you could just keep renewing the blood web at level 50, now if you want to renew the blood web once you've completed level 50, it will pop up with an option to prestige, which is the only way you can renew your blood web, and that will take you back to level 1. And I think you have to pay about 20,000 blood points to renew your blood web, which also prestiges you. But yeah, there are also some more rules that apply to this system as well, which I'm going to get into. So for each pre-existing level of prestige that you had before this update, you'll be granted 2+ additional prestige levels in the new system. So basically a character who was prestige 1 would be set to prestige 3, a character who was prestige 2 before would be set to prestige 6, and a character who was prestige 3 before would be set to prestige 9. And the amount of perk tiers, which counts each tier of perk separately, which somebody had purchased on a character, will also grant additional prestige levels in the new system based on specific thresholds. So if you had 70 to 119 perk tiers, you would be given 1 additional prestige level. If you had 120 to 169 perk tiers, you would be given +2 additional prestige levels. For 117 to 219 perk tiers, that would give you 3+ additional prestige levels. 220 to 269 perk tiers would give 4 additional prestige levels. 270 to 319 perk tiers would give 5 additional prestige levels, and 320 or more perk tiers would give 6 additional prestige levels. Something I forgot to add in the video is that prestige 9 is the highest level a character can be when transferring to the new system, even if the above rules say that they should be higher. Basically, wherever there's a space where you didn't have max prestige, it'll be filled in by how many perk tiers you had on that character. Otherwise, if you were max prestige, none of these extra levels from perk tiers will be applied to your character. And yeah, obviously teachables no longer exist, so existing unlocked teachable perks that you had before this update would immediately grant access to tier 1 of those perks on all characters if no other mechanic had already granted access to those perks. But yeah, they also added unique prestige crest artwork for each prestige level. Now this is going to be a bit confusing to describe, but I'm going to pop it up on screen anyway, so even if I'm pretty shit at describing it, you guys will be able to see what I mean. So for milestone 1, these are all round shaped. From prestige level 1 to 5, those are ash, 6 to 10 are bronze, 11 to 15 are silver, 16 to 20 are gold, and then 21 to 25 are iridescent. Then when you get to milestone 2, they change to diamond shapes. So it works exactly the same as the above ones, but they've just made it less specific. So it's basically just 30 to 34, they'll be diamond shaped and they'll be ash. Then at 35 to 39, they'll be bronze. 40 to 44, they will be silver. 45 to 49 will be gold. And then I'm guessing 50 to 54, they'll be iridescent. And then that's when they hit 55 that they hit milestone 3, which is where they turn to like hexagon shapes, I'm pretty sure. So that is 55 to 59, which is ash. 60 to 64, which is bronze. 65 to 69 is silver. 70 to 74 is gold. 75 to 79 is iridescent. And then when you hit 80, you enter milestone 4, which changes them to an octagon shape, which is 80 to 84 as ash, 85 to 89 as bronze, 90 to 94 as silver, 95 to 98 as gold, and then 99 for some reason is, I guess, like a lighter colored iridescent. And then when you hit 100, you gain a much darker iridescent logo. That's basically how all the crests look in the game now. And finally, characters who are already at prestige 3 on the old system will unlock a bloody prestige portrait on the character selection screen. This can be toggled on and off in the options menu. Okay, so we're now going to get more into sort of the base gameplay changes. So for starters, generators will take 90 seconds for a single survivor to repair, which was previously 80 seconds. I don't imagine it'll be very noticeable. Obviously, if you're a single person on a generator, it will be a little bit more annoying compared to when there's multiple of you. You really probably won't even notice. But yeah, the 10-second difference, I'm really not sure how much of a difference that will really make. Killers kicking a generator will now immediately cause a 2.5% loss of progress in addition to starting regression. I think regression will just continue as normal. That won't be affected. It's just when killers kick the generators, it will be a little bit faster, which is very good. Bloodlust trigger times have been reduced to 15 seconds for tier 1, 25 seconds for tier 2, and 35 seconds for tier 3, which was previously 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and 45 seconds. Now, the following killer actions have been sped up by 10%. One being that cooldown time after a successful hit has been reduced to 2.7 seconds, which was previously 3 seconds. Time to kick a generator has been reduced to 1.8 seconds, which was previously 2 seconds. And time to kick a pallet or wall has been reduced to 2.34 seconds, which was previously 2.6 seconds. Also, duration of the survivor speed boost when hit has been reduced to 1.8 seconds, which was previously 2. And survivors now have a modified version of borrowed time as a baseline ability, and no perk is required. This basically means that unhooked survivors now get a 7% movement speed bonus and endurance for 5 seconds, and the speed bonus and endurance effects are removed if the survivor performs a conspicuous action. These actions include repairing a generator, healing yourself or others, cleansing or blessing a totem, sabotaging a hook, unhooking a survivor, and opening an exit gate. So yeah, the endurance status effect is now cancelled by these conspicuous actions, which it wasn't before. Endurance does not prevent a survivor from entering the dying state if they are inflicted with deep wound. And for Shrine of Secrets, obviously now that they've removed teachables, it's a little bit different. So that being said, purchasing a perk on the Shrine of Secrets now immediately unlocks that perk on all killers and survivors at the displayed tier level. Tier 1 costing 2,000 iridescent shards, tier 2 costing 4,000 iridescent shards, and tier 3 costing 6,000 iridescent shards. You must purchase tier 1 before you can purchase tier 2, and you must purchase tier 2 before tier 3 unless you have already unlocked the perk via the prestige system. Having the perk already available via the prestige system discounts the price. So tier 1 via prestige, it would be 2,000 iridescent shards for tier 2 and then 4,000 iridescent shards for tier 3. And then if you had tier 2 via prestige, it would be 2,000 iridescent shards for tier 3. The same perk may be purchased multiple times on a single rotation of Shrine of Secrets, and purchasing a perk that you already have at tier 3 will convert the iridescent shards to 100,000 blood points. It says this can only be done once Shrine of Secrets rotation per perk, in brackets a maximum of 4 times on a single rotation, assuming you have all 4 perks already at tier 3. They've also added matchmaking incentives now, so matchmaking incentives are not available to players who have crossplay disabled. When the survivor to killer ratio in the active matchmaking queue drifts too far from optimal, in brackets 4:1, players will receive BPE bonuses to enter the queue as the needed role. It says, note, players can also expect queues with a large incentive bonus to have faster queue times, and matching incentives will appear on the main menu and in the lobby next to the ready button. Okay, so now we're going to look at the perk overhaul. They have gone and reworked, I think it's 39 or 40 perks, which is crazy. That is a huge amount of perk reworks and adjustments. So we're going to get into all of those. Obviously take this with a grain of salt because some websites say it's 39, others say it's 40. I'm really not too sure. So for barbecue and chili, they've removed the blood point bonus. For corrupt intervention, it now deactivates when any survivor enters the dying state. And it says, note, the perk still deactivates after 2 minutes if no survivor has entered the dying state. For coulrophobia, healing skill checks move 50% faster for survivors under the effect of this perk. For dark devotion, it now triggers when a survivor loses a health state by any means, which was previously just basic attacks. For eruption, they've increased the generator reduction when a survivor enters the dying state to 10%, which was previously 6%, and they've also increased duration of incapacitated status effect to 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and then 25 seconds, which was previously 12 seconds, 14, and then 16 seconds. For Hex, no one escapes death, or NOED in other words. Once the Hex's effect is revealed to the survivors, its Hex totem's aura is shown to the survivors at a range of 4 meters. This range increases steadily over the next 30 seconds to 24 meters. For Hex Ruin, once any survivor is killed by any means, the Hex Ruin totem reverts to a dull totem, and while a generator is not being repaired by a survivor, it will immediately and automatically regress repair progress at 50%/75%/100% of the normal regression speed. For Jolt, they've removed the cooldown. For Knockout, recovery speed is reduced by 25% for survivors under the effect of this perk. For Lethal Pursuer, anytime that a survivor's aura is shown for a period of time, its duration is increased by 2 seconds. Note, this new effect applies to the duration of the normal Lethal Pursuer effect, which means it effectively reveals survivors for 9/10/11 seconds at the start of the match. But yeah, for Monstrous Shrine, they've reworked it, so the perk is now called Scourge Hook Monstrous Shrine. Scourge Hooks grant 10/15/20% faster entity progression if the killer is not within 24 meters. meters, and basement hooks count as scourge hooks now, which is really cool. For overcharge, after overcharge is applied to a generator, its regression speed increases from 75% of normal to 200% of normal over the next 30 seconds. For Pop Goes the Weasel, they've changed the regression to be 20% of current progress, which was previously 25% of total. Note, this is calculated after the new baseline regression when kicking a generator. For Scourge Hook Gift of Pain, they've increased healing and repairing speed penalty to 10/13/16%, which was previously 7, 8, and 9%. For Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, they've removed the scream effect on survivors repairing the exploding generator. Generators will spark to show regression. And then for Thanatophobia, they've increased the individual penalties for repairing, sabotaging, and totem cleansing to 4.5, 5, and then 5.5%, which was previously 4, 4.5, and 5%. They've also increased the maximum penalty to 18/20/22%, which was previously 16/18/20%. And then for Tinkerer, this effect can only be triggered once on each generator. So those were the killer perk changes. Now onto the survivor perks. So for Borrowed Time, they've reworked to account for the baseline version of the effect. Survivors you unhook keep their endurance status effects for an extra 6 to 8 to 10 seconds, and their movement speed bonus for an extra 10 seconds. For Botany Knowledge, they've increased the healing speed bonus to 30/40/50%, which was previously 11/22/33%. And then they've also changed what was once a plus 10/20/30% medkit efficiency bonus to a minus 20 efficiency penalty. For Calm Spirit, they've increased chance to avoid alerting crows to 100%, which was 80, 90, and 100% before. And they also now allow you to open chests and cleanse/bless totems silently, but at 40/35/30% reduced speed. For Dark Sense, they've reworked this, so each time a generator is completed, Dark Sense activates. While Dark Sense is active, the killer entering a 24-meter radius around you reveals their aura for 5 to 7 to 10 seconds. Once the aura's duration expires, Dark Sense deactivates. Note, this effect triggers if the killer is already within 24 meters when the perk is activated. For Dead Hard, this one's quite a big change. They've actually removed the dash/dodge element of the perk. Activating Dead Hard now grants the survivor endurance for 1 second. Also, an animation plays when activated, so killers can see when the perk is used without the survivor being hit. I feel like this will be one of the most controversial ones because Dead Hard was just so good to use before, and now because it doesn't have the dodge element of it anymore, yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to work now. I feel like they've really nerfed that one. But next, Decisive Strike. The perk and its effects are disabled if the exit gates are powered. So basically now, if Decisive Strike is activated, I don't feel like any survivors are going to want to open the exit gate straight away. But then again, if you're playing in randoms and one of your teammates opens the exit, then you can't really do a whole lot about that, so that's a shame. And then also the perk is now disabled when the survivor performs a conspicuous action, which is defined earlier in the patch notes under the gameplay section, which, like I already mentioned earlier, it's just, cleansing totems, healing yourself or others, powering exits, that kind of stuff, like I mentioned before. And also now the stun duration is now 3 seconds, down from 5 seconds for Decisive Strike. For Deja Vu, you can now gain a 5% repair speed bonus on the generators revealed by Deja Vu. For Distortion, it's now reduced the starting tokens to 3, which was previously 4. They've now removed Stipulation, preventing the perk from activating when in a killer trap, and they've also added something so that now you can regain a token for each 30 seconds spent inside the killer's terror radius. Distortion may not have more than 3 tokens. For Hope, they've removed time limit. For Inner Focus, they've removed the distance restriction on seeing the scratch marks of other survivors, which previously you had to be within 32 meters. For Iron Will, they've reduced the Grunts of Pain volume reduction to 25/50/75%, which was previously 50/75/100%. They've also added something to this now so that it does not function while exhausted, and it does not inflict exhausted. For Lightweight, they've increased the reduction of scratch mark duration to 3/4/5 seconds, which was previously 1, 2, and 3 seconds. And also your scratch marks are spaced inconsistently. For Lucky Break, for each 1 second spent healing another survivor, you increase Lucky Break's duration by 1 second. Lucky Break's duration cannot increase beyond its starting value. For No One Left Behind, it now triggers when the exit gates are powered, which was triggered previously when an exit gate was opened. And they've also made it now so that when unhooking a survivor, they gain a 7% movement bonus for 10 seconds. Now for Off the Record, once you are unhooked or escape from the hook, Off the Record activates for 60/70/80 seconds. You also now gain the endurance status effect, and Off the Record is disabled when the exit gates are powered. For Overzealous, there is now an increased repair speed buff to 6/7/8%, which was previously 4/5/6%. And now this bonus is doubled if you cleanse a hex totem. For pharmacy, it now guarantees an emergency medkit in every chest when injured, which previously was just for the first chest you opened in a match. For Saboteur, Scourge hooks now have a yellow aura when a survivor is being carried. For self-care, they've reduced the self-heal speed to 25/30/35%, which was previously just 50%, and they've also removed the medkit efficiency bonus. For Sole Survivor, when you're the last survivor alive, gain 75% action speed when repairing generators and 50% action speed while opening an exit gate or the hatch. For Spine Chill, they've reworked this now so that you get notified when the killer is within a 36-meter range, and if the killer is within range and is looking at you with a clear line of sight, your speed while repairing, sabotaging, healing, unhooking, cleansing, blessing, opening exit gates, and unlocking is increased by 2%, 4%, and 6%, obviously depending on which tier you have of that perk. The effects of Spine Chill linger for 0.5 seconds after the killer looks away or is out of range. For Tenacity, they've added now that grunts of pain while in the dying state have their volume reduced by 75%. And then finally, for We're Gonna Live Forever, they've completely reworked this too, so that now when healing another survivor in the dying state, your healing speed is increased by 100%. Additionally, performing any of the following actions activates the perk's secondary function: perform a safe hook rescue, take a hit to protect a survivor, rescue a survivor by stunning the killer with a pellet, rescue a survivor by blinding the killer with a flashlight. When this perk's secondary function is active, healing another survivor out of the dying state grants them endurance for 6 to 8 to 10 seconds and deactivates the secondary function. So those are all of the changes to the perks. Obviously there's a lot there, so that was probably quite a mouthful to read through, but those are basically, from what I'm aware, all of the changes that have been brought about in the 6.1.0 update. If there is anything I might have missed, then I do apologize. Be sure to let me know in the comments if I did. But yeah, that is basically it. So thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully this was insightful, and yeah, be sure to let me know down in the comments what your opinions are on anything that I mentioned in this video. But yeah, I really do like that they've reworked the whole system for progression and prestiging. Obviously it's a little bit weird and it'll take a while to get used to. I don't know why they put that it'll be 75% easier. I do not think the grind will be any easier. I think it'll actually be a lot harder, especially for newcomers now, because there's like 100 prestiges to get for every killer and survivor. I don't know how that's gonna work, but hey, it is what it is. At least we've got more content. Obviously for the perks, the main two things I'm a little bit unsure about are obviously the changes to Dead Hard and Decisive Strike. But yeah, other than that, I'd love to know what you guys think. Thank you all so much for watching. This video will probably be a little bit of a long one. Sorry, I apologize if it's dragged on a little bit, but yeah, anyways, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to drop a like down below if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here. It's completely free and it would really help me out. And whilst you're at it, maybe even hit the bell icon as well so you stay notified for future uploads. And yeah, so thank you all so much for watching, and I shall catch you all in the next one. Goodbye.